So we may be seeing a quarterback change right here for the opening series.
Well, Max Duggan in that first half, 3 for 7, 29 yards, and it looks like they are officially making the change at quarterback to start the second half. They go a little reverse. Gary Jennings, and he will get it out to the 25-yard line. Let's check in with Devin, who's with Anthony Beck, to find out about that decision.
Coach, unable to get a rhythm in the first half. Is there a plan to play a different quarterback in the second half?
We're going to go with B. Silvers. We need a spark. I mean, it's not the quarterback's fault in this game, but we got to do something to energize our offense. Our defense has to make some stops. We're not helping each other right now. So I need my best 30 minutes from my guys. We score here. It's a one-score game. Our guys believe. We just got to calm down, take a breath, and let's go play to play. We're much better than this, but we're doing what we're doing, and we got to go out there and prove it.
Thanks, Coach.
All right.
All right, so Brandon Silver's now in. He started last week against D.C., got the win. And we talked about it earlier. It was kind of a meaningless game. He hooks up with Hakeem Butler on his first pass play.
Well, this is just a totally different offense with Silvers than it is with Max Duggan. He's a guy that throws the ball down the field a lot more than Duggan does. 8 of his 18 completions were on balls thrown 20 or more yards down the field. That's something that Duggan really doesn't do. So now this is going to be a game where you can feature Hakeem Butler and maybe Ja'Cour Pearson on the outside. And these wide receivers are going to have a big second half.
And loosen up the run game maybe at the same time. Sailors out across the first down marker. And just like that, 2 plays at first.
Well, they need to establish themselves here, get Silvers going. But again, this is the team that beat D.C. last week with Silvers at quarterback. Now, granted, it was in a monsoon. You know, so they were able to run the football. They ran it 31 times, only threw it 8 times. But down 20-6, you're going to Silvers for a specific purpose, right? Light a fire under this offense and also get a little bit more out of the passing game,
which they desperately need. 10 yards passing in the first half. Silvers underneath. He gets that and more right there to Sailors. And Sailors takes it into D.C. territory, and the crowd liking that, 17 yards.
Yeah, we've seen these linebackers a couple of times for D.C., and then when they split apart, what it allows them to do is just kind of occupy the middle of the field with a tight end, or in this case, a back. And there's Sailors for a nice completion. Good time up front from the offensive line. And now we're across the 50. And how about St. Louis now offensively feeling themselves a little bit of a rhythm?
It's early, but this does feel like a different offense already.
51. 180. 180.
Silvers steps up out to Chase Allen. Just a short gain to his tight end.
You know, I talked to Silvers a little bit down on the field before the game, and I was like, well, you ready? And he looked at me and he was like, man, these Southern guys, I'm always ready. And I was just like, this guy, he's cool, calm, and collected. You know, he's a gunslinger. He's not afraid to make mistakes. He'll throw it down the field. He was the quarterback at Troy. He was a really successful quarterback at Troy in his college career. And come in, his first action for St. Louis was actually week 9, so not even real deep in this offense.
Steps up, almost picked off. DeAndre Baker got his hand on that one and intended for Butler.
Yeah, but watch Baker. This is what makes Baker so good. Baker's not even defending the seam route. He's out here. And then watch, you're going to get the seam right here, and then Baker jumps inside, and he almost picks that ball off. That's incredibly hard to read as a quarterback, to see that outside corner. Your eyes are firmly planted on the safety. And Silvers is thinking to himself, okay, I can beat the safety with that ball to Hakeem Butler. He never even sees DeAndre Baker on the outside.
You can see why he was a first-round pick.
180. 180.
Pressure coming. Silvers steps up Sailors. Out of the backfield, but nowhere to run. Thompson wraps him up. 4th down decision time here. It's a long 4th down.
It is, but I think Anthony Beck's going to go for it. There he is on the sideline saying, let's go for it. So it's 4th and 6. You're across the 50. All right, showing his team that he's willing to be aggressive.
Seneca Wallace, their quarterback coach, trying to give encouragement to Silvers.
Tennessee, Z-pump on.
Too short to punt, too long to kick. Looking for the 38. Silvers hangs in there. No flags on the play. Beck wants one, but they don't call it. recovered by Baker. Anthony Beck going to challenge this play. That it was not called pass interference. He wants it called. And this is using one of those super challenges that you have in the UFL.
Well, Jennings is on a long over route, Kurt, all the way across the field. And Baker is trying to follow him.
That defender run him right through his back early. Yes, he hit him early. He ran right through his back before the ball got there. Pass interference, yes. On the receiver that was accepting the football there.
Look, hey.
St. Louis is challenging the ruling on the field of no defensive pass interference. Previous play is under further review.
Okay, I'm obviously looking at the play here now. Got to judge this in real time now. In real time, I have to judge this. So let's take a look at it here in real time again. Here comes real time. It's so close. I mean, again, if it's the one shot they just showed, can we just see the program they just showed? Yeah, but yeah, it's just so close. I get the contact might be a tad bit early, but again, we want to look at this at real time, just like it's being looked at on the field. And to me, it is bang, bang. I'm going to deny the challenge.
And the crowd hears the call from Mike Pereira, who explained it perfectly. It may legally be pass interference, but it's so bang, bang, you can't overturn it.
Stands. St. Louis has charged its first timeout and has no challenges remaining for the rest of the field. Timeout on the field.
In this conference championship game, turn the ball over on downs to Tamu. Will take it over for the first time here in the second half at the 44. First play, Deion Jackson, and he picks up 7 yards. We pick up Devin Gardner.
Yes, I'm down here with DeAndre Baker, who made great plays on that last drive. Talk about the technique that you didn't put on film that you showed to make one of those stops.
Oh, yeah, I was showing a different disguise in cover 3, so we kind of switched it up right there in the middle of the play. That's why coach was going crazy. He didn't know what we was doing, but I saw they was going to do a vertical route, so I just kind of disguised. We was in 2 or something. I came off trying to make a play. Made a good play.
All right, so you got a penalty early in the game, and somehow you became a peacemaker, right? Thompson is getting into it with the other team, and you're talking about the ledge. Talk about the change of heart.
Oh, yeah, we know we can't hurt the team, man. I got a 15-yarder that hurting my team, so I'm just telling guys, man, we got to have control chaos, man, control our emotions. Let's play ball.
Continue to play hard.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Hey, learn from his mistake.
Yeah, I love, hearing defensive backs talking about disguising and kind of baiting throws, which he did on that seam route that I was talking about. But here now, a third down, an opportunity for St. Louis to try to get off the field. But it's third and short, Kurt. They can do anything. Run it, throw it, whatever they want.
Needing the 46, Tamu. Oh, what a thread there to Jadon Mickens. First down, DC.
Hey, how about the ball placement here? This is right between 2 defenders. And so watch, Mickens going to come up and just hook in between 2 defenders. But Tamu doesn't lead him into the outside defender. That ball is purposely thrown on his back shoulder so that he doesn't race out into the corner, Nick Whiteside, number 10. That's terrific quarterback play from Tamu.
Here's Deion Jackson on first. Jackson, short 3-yard pickup. Take a look at our numbers here in this game so far. DC on offense, they've kind of spread it around.
Yep, and they're doing whatever they want. Running it, throwing the ball. Wide receivers played well. Seth Williams again just signed 5 weeks ago. He has been tremendous for them just today. 2 catches, 61 yards. I think St. Louis is going to have to totally commit to stopping the run because DC has been able to pick up large chunks of yardage in the run game, and this St. Louis team is going to have to stop that.
Tamu got an open receiver, Jadon Mickens. And Mickens once again hit along the sideline. Quinterio Cole knocks him out of bounds, but another perfect pass completed by Mr. Thomas.
And again, 3rd and short. They're constantly in these 3rd and shorts, manageable situations where they can do whatever they want.
22-second bubble.
I wonder if this is 4-down territory here.
Already across the 35.
Easy. Hey, line.
Play clock winding down. And they're forced to use the timeout. So while they take a timeout, we'll take a quick one too.
At Mothers, we're driven by the same passions you are, fueled by more than 50 years of purpose and innovation. We're driven by the details, the finish, the shine, the personal style. We're driven by the epic adventures and the simple joys. We're driven to scrub away the ordinary, to reveal the pristine, because no matter what we drive or what drives us, we're driven to take care of it. Give it that mother's love.
Hey, 82 DC. Twins right hack, 82 DC.
8:07 left to go here in this 3rd quarter.
Hey, go get it.
This feels like an important, you're not going to say a big or urgent 3rd down, but it does feel important in the way things are going right now.
You know, I wonder if he would go for it on 4th down here, because a field goal, it's still a 2-possession game, so it doesn't really do anything for you when you talk about the possessions left in this football game. But if you can get the 1st down and go down and score a touchdown, now you can make it a 3-score game. And so I wonder if they've got 2 snaps here to get it. Just sneak it. They're standing up over there. Just sneak it.
The pitch to Abram Smith gives it back to Tuamu. Little flea flicker, and Cornell Powell makes the catch. Fights off the defender, Miles Jones, and grabs it for 32 yards. It'll be 1st and goal.
How about that play call? A flea flicker on 3rd and 1. Get everybody up near the line of scrimmage. They know they're going to have man-to-man on the outside. And so they're going to try to take advantage of that man defense. And Jordan throws this ball a bit underneath. And Cornell Powell makes a great adjustment. A lot of contact there right before Tamu is hit. And there's Powell with the great adjustment. Hops over, almost gets into the end zone.
3 tight ends in. Abram Smith up the middle, and that could be huge. 2-yard touchdown run, but it continues this dominance by the defender offense.
Well, that opening sequence of this half has gone about like the entire game, all DC's way. Brandon Silvers comes out to try to provide a little life for that Battlehawks squad. They do not get a 4th down. They challenge. It's unsuccessful. DC walks on the field. They convert on 3rd down. Then they go again on a 3rd and short. They convert, put the ball inside the 5 and score.
Number
and now it's a 3-possession
is
game.
reporting eligible. 56 is reporting eligible.
We got the, oh wait, is it heavy? Twins? Right, 23. Yeah, Twins right hack, 23. Lock, Hyatt. I want ready.
They're bringing another offensive lineman here.
23. Here we go.
Trying to take a 21-point lead. And he's lined up in the backfield. Blocking. But they throw it. No connection to Powell. Nonetheless, it's now a 20-point game. DC adds to the lead. 12 weeks ago, he was the quarterback's coach here. Then suddenly, Reggie Barlow, the head coach, comes in, resigns, goes to Tennessee State. Shannon Harris named the head coach, and here in his 1st season, he has this team rolling in the conference championship game, on the verge of moving into the USFL title game, and doing it on the road in St. Louis, a place that you're not supposed to be able to come in and do like this.
No, and think about what this guy and this team have overcome. You know, getting the job late in this whole process, a week before the season, and now playing their best football.
Devin.
Coach, we see a 3rd down call with a lot of handling of the football. What were your emotions when you hear that call going in?
Yeah, very comfortable with it. You know, that's a play that we've had, you know, in our pocket since camp. So we feel comfortable with it. We practice that stuff all the time. So anytime we do things out here on the field, you know, we've been doing it all the time in practice.
Whose brainchild was it? Because I've never seen a pitch, then a handoff back to the quarterback as a free flicker.
Yeah, that's one of Coach Kite's specials, man. He's had that play in his pocket since college. So we love it, and it's always worked.
Thanks, Coach.
Big pass out to Jacob Pearson as St. Louis gets started. And Brandon Silver's making a difference here on offense at quarterback.
Well, they go right back to that seam route. It got broken up on the last series by DeAndre Baker, but right here, you're going to have Pearson, and he gets right over the top. The safety is way out of position over on the right side. No rotation, and that's an easy pitch and catch for St. Louis, and easily their best offensive play of the day.
41 yards. They're going to need more of that. Silvers threw it too short for Pearson. Had him.
I mean, wide open. Wide open. You got to step up in the pocket and make this throw. There's no other way to talk about this. He comes over, and he's wide open over the middle of the field. That's got to be a completion.
Single right, 350.
And winds up being second down. And I feel like that's just been the day for St. Louis, right? I mean, like every time that there's been something, Gary Jennings dropped the ball in the first half that would have been wide open. Every time it looks like they've got something going, they shoot themselves in the foot.
180, 180.
Out of the backfield, Sailors popped it up. It's picked off. Anthony Hines with the interception. There is a flag on the play, however. Let's check it out.
Yeah, and it got thrown straight up into the air in the form of why that could either be an illegal formation or it was an offside.
Offside. Defense, number 50. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Going to get Roberson. There he is, number 50. You can see he just kind of lines up. And he leans right into that neutral zone, and it takes away what would have been just almost a nail in the coffin here, up 3 scores. Right off the Sailors' face mask, and now that gives St. Louis a little reprieve here, and now they'll go from second and 10 to second and 5.
A little bit of life here.
Set. 180, 180 set.
Sailors, first down. Down to the 17-yard line.
The hardest thing to do as a team like St. Louis right here, and Anthony Beck and Silvers and Sailors and all these guys, is to try to block out what has happened and just focus on what needs to happen. I've always said comebacks are like puzzles, one piece at a time. That's the only way you can put it together, and that picture never materializes until the end, but all you can do is put one piece in at a time.
Hey, easy, easy.
Best drive of the game.
Here we go. Turbo, set.
Sailors, got to get back.
10. Spread right, 2 jet, both Fenway. Spread right, 2 jet, both Fenway.
Here we go, we're good. Hey, spread right, 2 jet, both Fenway.
They're thinking, well, this has got to be a great play. 2 jet, both Fenway. Let's go.
180, 180.
Here comes pressure. Silvers, through the hands of Thompson, who was the only one who had a chance to catch it.
I guess this is Fenway circa 85, you know, not 2004. Because that was, I don't know what's going on here on the outside. It looks like they're trying to get Butler on a corner, but he just kind of jogs off the line, not expecting the ball, and Silvers throws it right to Bryce Thompson. Should have caught it.
Story, why read?
Mike Martz used to always tell us in our quarterback room, I was with him when he was in Detroit, and he was like, hey, if defensive backs could catch, they'd be wide receivers.
And that's an example. 3rd and 5.
180, 180 set.
Here comes the blitz. Silvers gets rid of it, one-handed by Butler. Touchdown, St. Louis.
The Battlehawks needed that drive like they needed their next breath of air. And true to form, Blake Williams, he's going to blitz over here on this side, right? And so what do you have? Well, you have one-on-one with Akeem Butler. And Akeem Butler is able to win on the one-on-one. Keandre Thomas is beat. And Butler's able to reach out that big right hand, and he knocks that ball back to himself. And Silvers and the Battlehawks get a score that they desperately needed. Easily their best offensive series of the game.
No question. This drive started at their own 28-yard line. They punch it into the end zone and now go for the two-point conversion.
Yeah, even the Battlehawk fans are off today. The streamers were in the end zone there, the blue streamers.
Not yet.
Hey, hit me in the helmet, too.
DC.
Hey.
DC is going to throw it.
It's already confirmed. They got something else set up?
Yeah, maybe a foul. Let me find out what he's challenging.
Challenging the ruling on the field that there was no foul for holding by number 73. That was the ruling.
However you word it. I don't know. Just holding on there 73. However you word it.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah.
Copy that, Mayday.
They're challenging.
DCC is challenging the ruling on the field of no holding by number 73. Previous play is under further review.
Obviously, he's hoping to get a hold, which would negate the touchdown.
And here's Juwan Bushell-Beatty, number 73. Let's see.
Okay, I'm with you, Adam.
Derek Roberson.
Yeah, well,
so he's challenging that 73 held.
Yeah. But with the Fenways, though, when they're going,
73 takes on a block. He wraps him up here. But then when you look at it from the end zone side, it's not even close to the action, and actually the ball's gone. Keeps his feet in front. No, I'm going to deny the challenge. It's not offensive holding that we want called, so the touchdown will stand. And he is out of challenges, and it costs him a timeout.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. DC is charged its second timeout and has no challenges remaining for the rest of the game.
All right, on the scoreboard, it's not making a huge difference, but they lose a timeout and are out of super challenges. And this St. Louis offense is getting a little bit of a rhythm with Silvers going.
Well, there's no doubt, and now you're back in a two-possession environment.
Right. And you may need that later on if this comeback continues.
180, 110.
Silvers has time in the air, incomplete. Sutherland, the intended receiver. They don't get the two-point conversion, but they do get the touchdown. Their first look.
Looking for a flag, but then after that, he actually, like you said, walked into the tent, and they are checking him out. So that's something to monitor as we move forward in this game. And now St. Louis will kick it off. They got themselves back in a two-possession game, but there's Max Duggan, who started the game at quarterback, was pulled at halftime. And we'll see if he goes back into the football game. That's an awkward situation, I can tell you that right now as a quarterback.
Been through it? Where you've got Poling
yes.
gone back in?
Yes.
But they do get the touchdown. They're a little bit closer. And
let's take a look at this DC offensive line, right? A little hardcore football. Look at these big fellas work up front. Three-man side, you got it. No one touching. Running back 5 yards down here. I want you to watch number 51 right here, the center, Maeda. Great job getting off his double team up to the second level. That springs the back. Now I'm talking about no levels. Let's produce one seam so the back can take off in the middle. You got it. They seal everybody up. And it's an easy run up the field. This run game, which they haven't really leaned on all year. I mean, this has been a pass-first team. Most passing attempts in the league. They have run the football so effectively today. 100 yards on the ground, almost 6 yards a pop running the football.
Abram Smith takes it on first down. Smith fighting his way. Just bodies flying everywhere. Give him 8.
And again, look at these double teams, Kurt, just like I was talking about. You look at these double teams, and nobody is eliminating the double team block, and they're getting movement there. So you got center and you got right guard. They're covering up color. You got 79 and 70. They're covering up color. That's Yasir Durant and Tykeem Doss. Yasir Durant, by the way, number 70, the left tackle. He's all UFL. And this whole offensive line playing like they're all USFL.
Movement early, free play. That's cut. No, incomplete. Cornell Powell. And St. Louis going to get called for jumping early before the snap, though.
Decline to 22 on the DPI. You say my wrist? Two fouls on the play, both by the defense. Offside, number 92. That penalty is declined. Pass interference, number 22. 15-yard penalty with an automatic first down.
Yeah, they take the pass interference against Nate Maters instead for more yards.
His defense has no answers. They've got no answers. They can't get pressure on Tamu. They can't stop the run. I would say that you're just going to die a slow death if you can't stop the run. So you might as well go put everybody up there. And I think Anthony Beck knows that. But this entire game plan for St. Louis's defense, you can tell it was built to stop the passing game of DC. You know, the lack of levels. There's Silvers now on the opposite side. He's going to go in the park and head into the locker room.
That's tipped, almost intercepted, but it falls silently incomplete. And boy, just when things start to turn around a little bit on offense for St. Louis, they lose their quarterback in Brandon Silvers, who is in pain. Looks like that throwing shoulder.
Well, anytime you got those defensive linemen that land on you, Joe Wallace weighs 300 pounds, you know, and that's just so difficult. And so it'll be Max Duggan most likely back in the game.
And the reason he was benched was because he couldn't do what Silvers does.
Yeah, he was ineffective and is not really a passer like Silvers. Can be another big run.
Big hole. Jackson inside the 30. Another chunk play for DC. Give him 17.
Kurt, I'm telling you, check out the game plan. The game plan is creating no levels. So you've got linebackers that are splitting apart, which means all you need is one seam. There's nobody there. And you build that type of a game plan because you're expecting the passing game. You're expecting 32, 33, 35 passing attempts from DC, and you're sitting here, and now they've been able to run the football at will.
Is it that hard to change the game plan? Jackson spins his way out for another gain, 5, maybe 6 yards.
Well, you certainly need to make an adjustment, and they haven't done that. They continue to split those linebackers, and they continue to play defenses that don't have levels to them. I'm a big proponent. If you're just asking me to like build a defense that I think would be difficult to face, I would tell you a defense with the most amount of eyes in the backfield and levels, because then they're forcing us to be perfect. You see, defenses that don't have levels and play a lot of man coverage, we can beat you with 1 or 2 snaps. We can get a matchup that we like. But if you have levels and eyes in the backfield, that's not the case.
Deion Jackson again, and another first down for DC.
And this is, again, another one of these snaps where you're not going to have the levels. So look at, you've got, you know, all these guys. Then you've got a linebacker that runs up right next to the line of scrimmage on the outside. Very difficult.
You're right. This is almost like watching defeat in slow motion.
Yeah, the other part of this is that if your defensive line can't win, you know, if you can't split double teams, if you can't defeat blocks up front, you're going to lose.
They hand it off again. This time they stopped Jackson after a short pickup. Give him maybe 2. Travis Feeney, the first one there.
It's been an impressive day. And you look at Deion Jackson, but here's the thing, and this is what I think is difficult in preparing for DC. You know, Deion Jackson, he averaged on the season 5 yards per carry. So it's not that they couldn't run Kurt, and it's just that they leaned into throwing the football with their great core of wide receivers. But when push comes to shove, they can still run the rock.
Averaging 6 yards a carry. They throw it out. This is caught by the tight end. Bresnahan breaks the tackle and fights his way down inside the 5-yard line on what will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. A dominant night for DC as the defenders have a 14-point control off from start to where we are at the start of the 4th quarter.
I love this league because of all the success and, you know, pushing the envelope from the technology standpoint.
Here we go. Jackson diving and getting the touchdown. 146 yards rushing, and we're 1 play into the 4th quarter.
I'll tell you what, this game plan has been a masterpiece from Fred Kais. There they use some motion, get a linebacker out of the box. Deion Jackson has been tremendous today. 17 carries, 100 yards, almost 6 a pop. Now 2 touchdowns. And Kurt, this DC team, best they've played all season long. They've been able to throw it and run it at will, whatever they've wanted to do. And Anthony Beck can only sit on the other sideline and watch as he came in with the league's best record, the best home field advantage, and the league's best defense. This is the #1 defense in the league, and they have been absolutely chopped up today by DC.
St. Louis giving up an average of 16 points a game, this #1 defense. And right now, DC has scored 33 on them, double their league average. Deion Jackson's gotten a couple of touchdowns tonight. DC just keeps on rolling. Not even close, the offensive execution with Silvers versus Duggan, but maybe Duggan can be the hero. Blake Jackson will get him started. And the one thing, ball comes out. St. Louis eventually dives on it. Well, the one thing that they say about Max Duggan, they talk about his moxie, his fortitude, how he can become infectious to his teammates. We saw that at TCU with him leading to that national championship game. He'll have to do a lot of that tonight if he's going to lead them back.
You know, but the part about this that we've touched on, though, is it's not just the quarterback. It's plays like this. Nobody has played well for St. Louis. The defense hasn't played well. The offensive line hasn't played well. They haven't done a great job on the outside. You know, defensively, they've obviously played about their worst game of the year.
Ja'Cour Pearson on first down.
You know, and now they're sitting here and what are we, a 21-point game. Well, guess what's never happened in UFL history? Someone coming back from a 20-point deficit, and now it's going to have to be in one quarter with a guy that was the starter, got benched, and now he's going to come into the game. Here's one thing I do know about Max Duggan, though, because I knew him all the way back to TCU and love spending time with this guy, is that he is unfazed and will compete to the end. So if there's one guy that can overcome this and come out here and play well, it might be number 14.
Well, as you said, he's got to have help, and he doesn't get it. His offensive line gets beaten right there by Malik Fisher.
You know, this offensive line came into this ball game, and they were talking about how well they were going to play because they were rested. None of the starters played last week against this DC defense. They won the game. Maybe we should go back to the backup offensive line. Coach Beck, I don't know, because, man, the pressure's been immense. They've been in Duggan's face all day. Then they were in Silver's face all day, the point that he had to leave the game and exit, and there Duggan takes another sack.
Fourth sack of the game for DC. Just misses the 5th. He kind of throws that out there for Javian Howard. And Howard going to be stopped well short of the first down. So Duggan comes back in, goes 3 and out.
Man.
Yes, sir.
How about this defensive effort? I got to tell you, it's been sensational. And remember, Blake Williams in this defense, the last 7 games, they were not the reason they were winning. They were the reason that they were losing some games. In fact, they had to score 30+ just to win games in the last 7. And Blake Williams comes out there and dials up an incredible game plan, and they have played a terrific game and held St. Louis to 12 thus far.
And 6 of that, remember, was because of an interception that set up St. Louis deep in DC territory as Jadon Mickens takes it out just shy of the 40-yard line. Man,
he's good.
He's got a chance to win a Triple Crown this year.
I know it. It's incredible to watch.
How do you win the MVP and then become better? It's unbelievable to watch. It really is.
Hold on.
And they might not even be the best team in New York.
No. And the Mets are making their case for it right now.
Come here.
Soto's starting to warm up a little bit after a cold start. And
here we go.
You never know.
Busy sports weekend.
Texas Pesto, 23.
So great to hear you on the call. Belmont, what a great race that was.
That was fantastic. Sovereignty proving. I think that may be a horse that we look back 20 years from now and just realize how good Sovereignty is, having won both the Derby and the Belmont. Here's Abrams picking up a first down for DC.
Liam.
Okay.
Okay. I'll go to the other side.
Going Texas right, Texas right, 23, pistol.
USD 122,
Another call
Texas right, 23, pistol.
I don't know if Fred Tice is trying to manage the clock for Jordan Domino, but these are really late calls.
Smith bouncing off defenders and fights his way for 4.
Anthony Beck is a guy over there that has been in this position now a couple of times. This is a team that made it to the XFL Conference Championship a year ago in this building, came out, lost to San Antonio. They did a lot of rebuilding in the offseason, felt like they were better, and for the majority of the season, I would have agreed with that. And then, you know, to come out and play this way today is got to be disheartening for Anthony Beck, who has done an incredible job building up this franchise and this roster. And, you know, to have this performance out of a group that he thought a lot of and really believed in, I think is going to be incredibly disappointing. And then the question is like, where does he go from here? You know, last year he had A.J. McCarron and felt like they needed more mobility at quarterback. And so that's the direction that he went. And some of that mobility led to Max Duggan. And Max Duggan and what they were on the ground and what he was on the ground specifically, winning their last 5-0 in those starts. Great defense, and he thought, okay, that's the blueprint. That's what I want to do going into the playoffs. And to play this way today at home, yeah, I tell you, this is gonna sting for a long time over there.
His defense going to stop Jackson just shy on the first down. We get a late flag coming out as well.
I think that they grabbed his face mask. At least that's what he was kind of signaling, Kurt, it looked like.
So personal foul, 56. Personal foul, face mask. Defense, number 56, 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Yeah.
And, I mean, just no reason.
Hold on.
I mean, you had them stopped on third down.
Everywhere. All facets.
Probably out of field goal territory. Now, they may have gone for it on 4th. You don't know. But you just gave them 15 yards and automatic first down for no reason. It's just been that kind of game.
Well, yeah. You know,
nothing going right for St. Louis.
They played poorly mentally. They've executed poorly.
Go get him.
Abram Smith.
This is one of those that, like, it is a really hard soul-searching deal, because here's the thing. No player played well. Both game plans were wrong. And the emotions got the best of them several times. The only thing that really happened was you got a pick that wound up inside the 5 after a penalty. And then a backup quarterback threw a seam route, and you kind of got something going there, and then Butler makes a one-handed catch. Outside of that, nothing has gone right for St. Louis. Now,
Special teams, nothing. There's Abram Smith. And we talk about the soul-searching this St. Louis team has to do. Let's look at D.C.
Yeah.
And we talked about overcoming adversity. You lose your head coach the week before the regular season starts, and you're going to wind up in the championship game regardless.
What you're referring to is, at the beginning of the year, Reggie Barlow was going to be the head coach, and he left week before the start of the season to take the Tennessee State job. That opened when Eddie George, of course, went to Bowling Green. By the way, Eddie, we love you and good luck up there. Can't wait to see how you do with Bowling Green. But Shannon Harris, who was the quarterback coach here at DC for the last few years, he gets thrown into this role as the head coach. And you know, early their defense played great, and then you kind of leaned on a quarterback that was hot. But as the season has gone on, this group has gotten better and better and better. And I just got to give a lot of respect to Shannon Harris, because that's not easy. It's not his roster, Kurt.
Right.
You know, he didn't build it. And so he's got to come in and find a way to lead a group of men, make them a team, make them believe in him. You know, all of these players signed up to play for Reggie Barlow.
Penalty is declined. It's 4th down.
So they're going to send out the field goal unit. You talk about, I mean, here's a guy who had not been a head coach before, and all of a sudden you've got to take over at the last minute. It's not like you had an offseason to kind of implement your program or get your attitude understood by the players. He had to do it on the fly. And they wound up with a 6-4 record, which is the flip side of what they had last year. And once again, I mean, they're just minutes away from moving on to the championship game, which will be played right here on Saturday.
And they're going to have a great matchup with Michigan. You know, this UFL championship is going to finally feature someone other than the Birmingham Stallions for a while.
It's been a while, exactly.
Their tenure as whether he's even going to come out for the next series or not.
Next game is 6 days away. If this score holds up or the lead holds up and they win this game officially, as Blake Jackson returns it, they will meet the Michigan Panthers, and Jackson fumbles. It's almost unsurprising at this point.
Yeah, two straight kickoffs that he's dropped the ball. Both times he's benefited from his teammates falling on the ball. This one, he's just carrying it away from his body. There's barely any contact there. Granted, it's on his ball-carrying arm. There's no doubt. Great look from the drone here. Here's some of our technology here flying right there. Our drone pilots, they're so good. There's some Fox Vision. That's drone cap in there. That camera is right in his chest, right in the chest plate of the pads. What a cool look.
It is. Great job. Duggan. Sack number 5.
Oh, man. This offensive line has played brutal today. And by the way, credit to DC. Because remember now, I said early, they had 3 of the top 6 sack getters in the UFL. You know, when you're talking about Derek Roberson, Andre Mintz, Joe Wallace from the interior. There's Mark Colombo, the offensive line coach for St. Louis. Not the day he wanted either.
Here's Duggan. Gets it out. Jarvian Howard out of the backfield. And he fights his way out across the first down at the 36-yard line. Here we go.
Pass rush has been good. I've really been impressed too with Blake Williams because he's been disciplined at times. Have you noticed the different styles of defense? When Silvers was in, he was all blitz and he was trying to put hits on Silvers, and he was able to do that. But with Duggan, there's more zone and eyes in the backfield. You know, there's a lot of guys just sitting there watching number 14 and not allowing him to run the ball down the field.
And just coming with a 4-man rush like now. That one tipped and it falls incomplete. Let's check in with Devin Gardner.
Yeah, guys, you guys are talking about the defense and how it's had to kind of adapt on the fly. When we talked to Coach Harris earlier this week, he said he knows that there's a chance that he might see Silvers, right? That he might see 2 separate offenses. So they prepared for both styles of offense, and that's why you see the difference when each quarterback is in the game.
Yeah, and Devin, it's such a stark difference, but it's the absolute correct difference, right? If you've got a running quarterback, you got to have eyes on him and play zone.
Of course.
Duggan winds up and completes that one out to Frank Darby. Good run after the catch by Darby. St. Louis looking for a big play, and they get it. There's a flag down on the tackle as well. 47 yards on the reception. Let's see if they add to it.
Horse collar tackle, defense 21, full 15, correct? Personal foul, horse collar tackle, defense number 21, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Got to kind of slide over to his left, and he gets that ball over to Darby, and Darby makes just a brilliant move. And then at the end, here is the horse collar by Dean. You can see clearly he's got the opening of the pads there up top and slings him down to the ground. That, because it was just outside of the 20, Kurt, they attached the full 15 yards, so that's not a half the distance penalty. That goes all the way down to the 2-yard line for first and goal.
And they also on the play lost Steven Gonzalez, their all-UFL left guard. He went out with an injury. Jarvian Howard stopped in the backfield in his absence. Trey Dean, who got called for that horse collar, making the tackle.
You know, this offensive line had two guys that were all UFL coming into this ball game. Steven Gonzalez, who you said, you know, just gotten injured, and then the center in there, number 61, Mike Panashuk. And their interior has played okay today, but it was really the tackles. You know, they just kept getting beat on the edge by Roberson and Mintz.
Duggan on the keeper. Stopped at the 2.
That's been their bread and butter. Inside the 10 has been running backs. Duggan. DC knows that.
Right.
And again, a lot of eyes in the backfield. If you're a young defensive coach out there and you're facing a team that has a quarterback that is
left, 200 jet per Jew, X hot.
Get all those guys, eyes in the backfield, layers of defense. Makes it very difficult for a quarterback to really be a threat as a runner.
Tonight! White 80,
Everybody coming on 3rd and 2. Flag comes flying. Gary Jennings, the intended receiver. Got a little battle there.
Pass interference. Defense number 5. Foul incurred in the end zone. By rule, the ball is placed at the 1-yard line. Automatic first down.
Michael O.J. Muduya.
Contact didn't allow Jennings
number 70
to get back
is
to the
reporting
football.
eligible. 70 is eligible.
See, he had his left hand kind of hooked around his hip. Pretty easy call right there.
13
give St. Louis fresh set of downs here inside the 5.
Dance.
Bringing a 6th lineman.
Hey, move!
First and goal from the 1.
Set up, Blake, you good? White 80,
Howard bottled up. Keeps on fighting, but he doesn't get into the end zone.
That was the extra offensive lineman on the field, Bradley Ashmore, number 70. Played his college ball at Vandy.
Here we go.
His helmet kind of comes off.
Here we go.
Trying to draw the penalty, right?
14 Willie, I'm worried.
Help me. No help. 2nd and goal.
White 80,
Howard, no go there. Stopped by Niall Scott, and here we go, 3rd and goal.
I tell you, this interior has been salty. You've got all UFL Joe Wallace, number 99. You've got Niall Scott. Niall Scott, by the way, number 90. He was in on that last stop. 330 pounds. There you know you're going to get one from Blake Williams in there.
At some point. So they're going to call a timeout instead.
Timeout. DC, their 3rd and final. 30 seconds.
They wanted to get a little more organized. That's their final timeout. Less than 3 minutes left to go on the clock. Birmingham lost today, so we know there will be a new champion of the UFL as Michigan moves on to the championship game. And on Saturday,
but he went kind of down, ankle injury. But Perkins had several plays in that game. Highlight worthy.
Throwing it up for Butler. Tries the one-handed, incomplete. And here is 4th down. It's just to try to make the score more respectable.
Let's go, Mike, let's go,
this was 1st and goal from the 1.
Let's go, here we go.
Then they got a penalty and had another 1st and goal. So they had 1st and goal from the 2 after the horse collar. Then run a play, throw a pass, you got pass interference. So this is what, is this the 6th now? 7th play inside the 5?
Duggan gets it into the end zone. Finally on 4th and goal. So the remaining fans have a little something to cheer about as they get ready to slide into the offseason.
Well, you heard the call come in. Q power.
You're in the huddle.
Quarterback power. So you're going to get some guys blocking down on this right side. You're going to get blocking down, and then you're going to get kind of these lead blocks up in front.
Good job.
And then it's all on Duggan, and they clear a path, and number 14 walks into the end zone.
Yes. Change. All right. 8-4 at 350.
Too little, too late. Yep, for this St. Louis team.
Well, not only are the fans here happy about it, that sets the over for those that care.
Wide 80. Wide set.
Two-point conversion attempt here. Man.
I know you want to do that.
What do you say about that, huh?
Well, we've seen that blitz. That was the same type of blitz that got Silvers, you know?
Yeah.
Just,
I mean, not even a shot.
just sending the house. Blake Williams dialing it up over there. By the way, also someone that got in his role late. He took over for his dad, Greg Williams, because he left to join Reggie Barlow at Tennessee State. So then Blake all of a sudden was the defensive line coach. He was thrown into this role. So all of this coaching staff adapted, you know, on the fly. And Blake has done a masterful job here today.
Yeah. If the rule is just in the 4th quarter if you're down.
All right, so what's happening here, if you haven't watched UFL football before, is there is no onside kick. But as an offense, if you're down, you can choose to go for 4th and 12. If you get the conversion, you keep the ball.
You're a nasty
if not,
on this?
you turn the ball over to, in this case, DC, wherever the tackle is made, or at the incompletion, which will start at the 28-yard line is where the ball will be snapped.
So
here we go. We're
it's
good.
not
We're good.
totally out of the
Let's go,
question
fellas.
as far as
We're good.
comeback.
We're good, fellas. We're good.
Because
You're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Are we good?
Am I doing it okay? Because
we'll find out.
One possession.
Yes, you can score 9 points in this league.
It's an 18-point deficit.
Okay. So two
possession game,
and that ties it,
and that would tie it.
And then you go to overtime,
and then overtime. So
may as well dream. It's possible. It is possible.
It starts right here.
That's right.
They'd have to get this 4th and 12.
And you were thirsty for that last one.
Need the guys from Dumb and Dumber?
More
You're
like
saying there's a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, we're good. Wide 80. That's it.
Hit as he throws and intercepted. The chance disappears. And DC with 2:05 left. Going to see if they can run the clock out and celebrate by taking a knee.
If you're going to have one snap that is indicative of the entire game, this is it. You know, a great rush on one side, a little loop on the other, wobbly pass, DC picks it off, a dominant snap, and a dominant game for this Defenders team as they are headed to face Michigan for the UFL championship. Man, these quarterbacks got hit a lot. They put pressure on these quarterbacks when they needed to. Ta'amu was terrific on offense.
Coach, he will get him in there for the first time, and they will take on Michigan as 3-time Spring League defending champ and UFL defending champ Birmingham went down earlier today.
Yeah, both road teams today. You can't get the Gatorade bath and then start screaming huddle, right? Like you're good to go. Get the first down and take a knee. One of the things that I love talking with Shannon about is his love for this staff. And he said, listen, I couldn't have done this without this great staff. And, you know, he believes in the coaches he has around him. And I think, you know, you look at the future of this organization, I think they could easily make a couple of year run here, you know, and depending on what guys they can retain on the roster.
Is this respect for the head coach when you don't put it directly over his head, just over the back of his neck? Give him a little protection.
That's right. That's right.
We love you so much, we don't want to drown you.
Got to be a good feeling there. Congratulations.
Situations where a coach takes over, and not quite sure because he hasn't done the job before. But Shannon Harris's confidence infectious to the rest of this organization.
I think it helped that he had been with the organization, you know, for 3 years. He was the QB coach for 2 years, so all the players knew him.
Hey,
and then he just got to make them believe.
Hey, she had us fun first.
Oh, they gave that to St. Louis. That should have been a first down. That's what Shannon Harris was saying. But St. Louis will come back out here. You look at that matchup, though, and here's what, you know, this defense is going to have a similar game plan against Bryce Perkins. A mobile quarterback, a threat on the outside, and those guys on the defensive line, they're going to have to play as well or better even next week. Derek Roberson, Andre Mintz on the interior, Niall Scott, Joe Wallace. That defensive line that played so well here today is going to have to repeat that performance in this dome next week against Michigan if they want to take home the title.
Well, tonight they got 5 sacks, 2 turnovers, and numerous hits on both quarterbacks, while their offense put up 388 yards and 36 points.
Well, St. Louis doesn't have to snap it. I would assume that they, they're not trying to put any film out there, so I don't think that they would even call a play.
Let's go.
Derek Roberson and DC move on to the UFL championship. They'll be right back here in this building in 6 days trying to win it all, taking on Michigan. The game will be on ABC Saturday night at 8 o'clock, but congratulations to Shannon Harris and the DC Defenders.
Good job, guys.
Conversation about Shannon Harris potentially sticking around, I think, is moot. I think he would definitely